So, good morning. What lesson are we on? We're on lesson number 92 of the Workbook of A Course in Miracles. And I just read for the third time this morning this lesson. And the second part is so beautiful that I don't want to do anything but read you the part that's so incredibly beautiful and personal. Um, I don't, there is no, to me, um, there is no purer, let's call it, more communicative, let's say, and more evocative um, use of the English language than I find in the Course in Miracles as Jesus uses it. Some close seconds that carry much similar energy and tone. I find in Shakespeare and songs of the Grateful Dead, but not with such consistency and constancy and with the delivery, page, line after line, page after page, that never strays from the mark, except to catch you up and bring you to the mark. It's sort of like it picks you up where you find yourself in your own mind. So there are moments when Jesus will dip down, let's call it, for a second, for what he's talking about in the last part of the lesson. As a matter of fact, I got to read this because it's exactly what I'm trying to say. This is the first time he's used this expression as well. This is the first time since we've been doing these lessons he's used this expression, and I think it's a beautiful one. It's evocative of how many of us feel we would like to live with each other. As a matter of fact, it evokes to me what many people come together in order to experience, and yet find so difficult to have occur. I want to read this for a second. The strength in you will offer you the light and guide your seeing, so you do not dwell on idle shadows that the body's eyes provide for self-deception. Strength and light unite in you. And that's the lesson. Miracles are seen in light, and light and strength are one. That's lesson number 92 for today. Miracles are seen in light, and light and strength are one. And if I could ever get back to it, that's a little bit of what I was wanting to talk about, the reassociation of our mind to a single focus, and the healing process of our mind being one of purification, where the thoughts that can be, in a sense, reassociated by the clarification of the light of the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of understanding, allows those thoughts to be made straight, to straighten the way and narrow the path, while other thoughts just get discarded completely because they're entirely false and have no value whatsoever. And then there are the thoughts that we already have that are pure, but because of the other thoughts, just add to the confusion because we're unclear about any one thing. We're unclear about everything. So there must be a way to begin to utilize, and this is what it's talking, our own thinking, our own strength, our own light, to untangle us and have the strength and light unite in you, in us. So strength and light unite in you. And where they meet, yourself stands ready to embrace you as its own. Such is the meeting place we try to find and rest in. For the peace of God is where yourself, his son, is waiting now to meet itself again and be as one. As one. Let us give 20 minutes twice today to join this meeting. Let yourself be brought unto yourself. Its strength will be the light in which the gift of sight is given you. Leave then the dark a little while today, and we will practice seeing the light, closing the body's eyes and asking truth to show us how to find the meeting place of self and self, where light and strength are one. Goes on to say, after, this is really incredible to me, after the morning meeting, we will use the day in preparation for the time at night when we will meet again in hope and trust. Let us repeat as often as we can the idea for today and recognize that we are being introduced to sight and led away from darkness to the light where only miracles can be perceived. I just find that a beautiful expression. And one of the things that goes on here as we continue with these lessons and as we begin to look at our own attributes and the attributes of the Holy Spirit, or the attributes that we tend to utilize as we want to understand ourselves in relationship to God. Let's call them the true attributes, the attributes that can be aligned, with our creative reality, eternal, infinite, whole, perfect, loving, wholly lovable. And what we're trying to do, what Jesus is trying to do, and go back to the beginning of the lesson for a second. The idea for today is an extension of the previous one, which is obvious. Miracles are seen in light, and now today is increasing light and strength to be one. And the idea for today is an extension of the previous one. You do not think of light in terms of strength and darkness in terms of weakness. Although if you sat for a second, if you really did sit for a second and think about your experiences, think about your experience when you're in a brightly lit situation like the daytime. I can go right outside into the woods here in the daytime, in the light, and you can see as far as your eyes can see, and it's this beautiful scene. It's pastoral. It's huge pines. There's wildlife. There's birds. There's sounds in the air. And one of the reasons I haven't been taking so many pictures lately, and there's been many a spot on some of the drives that I take to go to any place here. It's at least an hour away, and there's several ways to go. One of the drives I go on, when I see these incredible scenes, I have this idea that I'll take a picture, and I realize that the picture is going to leave out so much of what it is that I'm experiencing, so as to be not really expressive of the feeling that I'm having when I have the desire to take this picture and share it with you all, because it's going to leave out a totality of the environment within which I'm feeling it and the self that's feeling it as part of the environment. And the picture comes off flat, albeit some of them are beautiful. but it doesn't get the richness of the smells in the air of the particular area that you want to stop in, which is different from the one you just passed through. The scents from the flowers and the wildlife that's and the trees that are in the area, the particular ecosystem that you find yourself in, or the dryness of the air because of the lack of water in the desert scene. These are some of the things that I can't get on the picture, so I'm not able to communicate. So I find the picture taking lacking. You just want to breathe it in and allow it, include it in, and share it as joy and gratitude with everyone. You do not think of light in terms of strength and darkness in terms of weakness. And then I can go out at night to the same backyard when it's pitch black and dark and sort of have to tiptoe around because you don't know if the bear is in the backyard or not now. You don't know what the night has brought close to you or what's possible because you can't really see. Yet it's not any different other than the lack of light that was there during the day. This is sort of what we're talking about when he talks about the terms of light being strength and darkness being weakness. It's a gestalt in that sense. It's a totality of an experience. This is because your idea of what seeing means is tied up with the body, its eyes and brain. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. This is why you believe that you can change what you see by keeping little bits of glass or other clear material before your eyes held in a frame or placed against the eye. These are among the many magical beliefs that come from the conviction that you are a body and the body's eyes can see. You also believe the body's brain can think. If you but understood the nature of thought, you could but laugh at this insane idea. It is as if you thought you held the match that lights the sun and gives it all its warmth, or that you had the universe imprisoned in your hand, securely bound until you let it go. Yet this is no more foolish than to believe the body's eyes can see and the brain can think. And he's sort of talking to you a little bit more like you're an adult here that's capable of sort of, saying, well, yeah, you're right. And he's taken off the gloves a little bit, and in the way he's been teaching and utilizing the lessons, he's taken off the gloves a little bit, and it's like urging you to grow up and take a look around you and really get into what you think and try to bring it all into a single focus. And so I was talking about before, about the idea that there's a reassociation in your thinking going on. Everything true, whole, perfect, eternal, loving, and infinite with God, and anything that's not that with nothing, but not have the nothing exist as something in opposition to God. It's one of the biggest blocks to the understanding of what Jesus is saying in the Course of Miracles. The recognition that you've made nothing into something and believed as something rather than the fact that it's nothing. All or nothing can't exist. Everything and nothing cannot coexist. But because we can think, because because of the split in our minds, we give images. This is what we do. We make an image for everything, and we make an image for nothing, thereby rendering both of them false. So there's no truth in either side of our thinking, because nothing and everything cannot coexist, just as light and darkness can't coexist. So we make images of what light is, we make images of what darkness is, and attempt to bring their image of light into the darkness. We're really being trained to associate everything with God and nothing, to allow it to be as it is, not anything. In that sense, with light and darkness seems to be the closest we can speak of. because you can shine a light as far as you could shine a light, and then it stops where the light sort of no longer can extend, and then there is darkness. So we call the darkness nothing, but we still think there's something past the light. There's nothing past the light. That is what nothing is. The absence of light, not the presence of darkness, but to the human mind. We have to deal with both sides of the equation. So we talk about it in those terms. What is darkness but absence of light? And where is there absence of light but in a place that doesn't exist? So when we go to understand creation, we look at the idea of creating. Where previously there was nothing, now there's something. That's the extension. That's our job as creators. That's how we extend the creation that we were created to create with God. So the best we can come up with is darkness. But because darkness exists within a visual acuity of the body's eyes, it has a meaning. And it's hard to disassociate that meaning from other definitions that we use in order to give meaning to something else, because they all exist. All definitions attempt to try to fit together to make up a whole that can't be, in a sense, how do I say this? The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So we have all these parts that we try to put together as a whole. The whole is so much greater than the sum of the parts that you got to let go of your idea of what the parts are and get past your own attempting to sum it. Get past your own summation. Is God's strength in you, that is the light in which you see, as it is His mind with which you think. His strength denies your weakness. Denies. As we have denied Him, He's denying the same thing, same idea. He doesn't actively deny it. It's just not recognizable because it has no validity, no truth, no reality to it. It is your weakness that sees through the body's eyes, peering about in darkness to behold the likeness of itself, the small, the weak, the sickly and the dying, those in need, the helpless and the afraid, the sad, the poor, the starving, and the joyless. They are seen through eyes which cannot see, but cannot bless. Strength overlooks these things by seeing past appearances, keeps its steady gaze upon the light that lies beyond them. It unites with light of which it is a part. It sees itself. It brings the light in which yourself appears. In darkness, you perceive a self that is not there. Yes, you make up an image as if there's something in the darkness that, other than recognizing the darkness and nothingness are one and the same thing. So you're looking in the darkness for what it is you are when there's nothing in the darkness to find whatsoever. But because you can't see the light, you have to look where you're given to look until the light comes and you recognize that the light's always been in you and it's never been in darkness because darkness does not exist. And then when the light dawns upon your mind, you look out of a light mind and see like itself, more light. Oh, there you are. Yeah, I don't know how to teach this in a sense. What I'm saying is when I woke up, you were already awake. Oh, there you are. When my awakened self saw your awakened self and recognized that sleeping was a condition that did not exist except as an illusion, and my sleeping confined you to an illusion that you were never a part of, because God creates only mind awake. Miracles are seen in that light, and that light and that strength are one, and that light and that strength is ours, right here, right now.